So we need to discuss this. Who is Trump's daddy? Is it Daddy Vladdy or is it President Musk? Because we already saw how Trump was with Daddy Vladdy in his first term. But now Musk has moved in and he seems to be kind of vying for that spot, or he's in that spot, or maybe he has two dads. I don't know. But we need to talk about this situation with Russia, Ukraine, Trump, and how he's basically capitulating this war to Daddy Vladdy. So Trump put out this message on his Truth Social saying, think of it, a modestly successful comedian, Vladimir Zelensky, talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion to go into a war that couldn't be won, that never had to start, but a war that he, without the United States, and in caps and in quotes, without Trump, will never be able to settle. He did not start this war. Ukraine did not start this war. Vladimir Putin started this war. This is a straight up lie, but I know that his MAGAs will eat this up. Eat this up. All right, it says the United States has spent $200 billion more than Europe, and Europe's money is guaranteed, while the United States will get nothing back. Why didn't sleepy Joe Biden demand equalization, and that this war is far more important to Europe than it is to us? We have a big, beautiful ocean as separation. The fact that he just capitalizes such weird words in his sentences is annoying. On top of this, Zelensky admits that half of the money we sent him is missing. He refuses to have elections, is very low in Ukrainian polls, and the only thing he was good at was playing Biden like a fiddle. Why is that in quotation marks? A dictator without elections, Zelensky better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. In the meantime, we are successfully negotiating an end to the war with Russia, something I'll admit only Trump, in caps and quotes. Why is this in caps and quotes? And it's him talking. Only Trump and the Trump administration can do. Biden never tried. Europe has failed to bring peace, and Zelensky probably wants to keep the gravy train going. I love Ukraine. Really? I love Ukraine, but Zelensky has done a terrible job. His country is shattered, and millions have unnecessarily died. And so it continues. You see, in all of that, because Daddy Vladdy is pulling the puppet strings, and he must have something on this man. Someone said in my comments, he still has those PP tapes. Like, those PP tapes still must actually exist, because Russia, at the behest of Vladimir Putin, invaded Ukraine. This is nothing but Ukraine. No, I'm sorry. This is nothing but Russian propaganda and talking points coming out the Twitter fingers, or I'm sorry, the Truth Social fingers of Donald Trump. Even though Donald Trump is randomly capitalizing words that don't need to be capitalized. Let's do some of the comments on this post. It says, Ukraine didn't start this war. Russia invaded. No, Zelensky isn't a dictator. Like, why do we even have to say this? Why? Like, we're not living in an alternative world, despite the fact that MAGA and Trump are. These next two comments come from Trump supporters. Kay Frizz says, I love Trump. Why do people love politicians? This is weird. I love Trump, don't get me wrong, but Russia is the bad guy here. They invaded Ukraine, not the other way around. I don't understand putting the onus on Zelensky and pretending that Russia is the good guy here. In Like Flynn says, I voted for you, Mr. President, yet here's where we diverge in opinion. Ukraine did not provoke the invasion of its sovereign nation. Nothing you say will change this fact. Saying Zelensky got into a war that couldn't be won omits self-defense from an aggressor. Shameful. And I'll end it with this one. Republicans against Trump saying, nothing surprising here. Anyone who's been following Trump for the last 10 years could see he's a Putin puppet who admires brutal dictators and despises freedom and democracy. What's chilling is how many Republicans in Congress who claim to support Ukraine are still enabling this monster. Yes, they are. They are. The BBC put out an article, fact-checking Trump claims about war in Ukraine. Let's look at all of the lies that he put into that post. All right, it says U.S. President Trump has appeared to accuse Ukraine of being responsible for the war with Russia in a flurry of claims from his Mar-a-Lago mansion in Florida. Speaking to reporters, Trump also made claims about President Vladimir Zelensky's popularity and observed that Ukraine had yet to hold scheduled elections due to martial law. He later doubled down on those comments in a fiery Truth Social post on Wednesday. Trump's accusations, some of which appeared to mirror common Russian talking points about the war, came just hours after U.S. officials met a Russian delegation in Radia, I'm not sure, Radia, to open talks to end the conflict, which has raged on for almost 3 years. Zelensky later accused Trump of living in a disinformation space created by Russia. Claim Zelensky is a dictator without election. Trump initially drew attention to the fact that Ukraine has not held a presidential election since 2019, when Zelensky, previously a comedian with no political base, swept to power. He repeated the claims in a Truth Social post in which he accused the Ukrainian leader of being a dictator without elections, which is wild considering how much he loves Daddy Vladdy. Zelensky's first 5-year term of office was due to come to an end in May 2024. However, Ukraine has been under martial law since the Russian invasion in February 2022, which means elections are suspended. Ukraine's martial laws were drafted in 2015, shortly after Russia annexed the Crimean Peninsula and years before Zelensky and his servant of the People Party came to power. All right, I'm going to skip down. It says Zelensky has vowed to hold a new election once the conflict ends and has yet to confirm that he intends to stand. Some experts have observed that holding elections in Ukraine before the conflict ends would be practically impossible as Russian attacks on many cities persist and millions of citizens are displaced abroad or living under Russian occupation. Claim. I hate to say it, but he's down at 4% approval rating. Trump has also claimed Zelensky's approval rating has fallen to 4%. It says right here, it's unclear what source the president was citing as he didn't provide evidence. We have asked the White House to clarify this. I have checked. He pulled it out of his behind. That's where he pulled it out. He just went back there, pulled it, and he said the number 4. That's what he said. So we don't even need to read all of this. That's where he pulled that number. Claim. You should have never started it. Ukrainian authorities expressed dissatisfaction over not being part of Tuesday's talks in Radia, but Trump dismissed these concerns, telling reporters that Ukraine had 3 years to end the war before appearing to blame Kyiv for starting the conflict. You should have never started it, he said. The Kremlin has previously accused Ukraine of starting the war against Russia. It was they who started the war in 2014. Our goal is to stop this war, and we did not start this war in 2022. Russian President Vladimir Putin told U.S. talk show host Tucker Carlson in February 2024. Ukraine didn't start the war. Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, having annexed Crimea in 2014. The annexation came after Ukraine's pro-Russian president was ousted by popular demonstrations. Oh, okay, so that's what happened. Whew, that's a lot to get through. He lies so much that they actually have to put out articles debunking these lies, which is crazy. A lot of Republicans are responding to these comments. Mike Pence put out a tweet saying, Mr. President, Ukraine did not start this war. Russia launched an unprovoked and brutal invasion, claiming hundreds of thousands of lives. The road to peace must be built on the truth. And then he posted this article. Senator Lisa Murkowski on Trump calling Zelensky a dictator, saying, I would like to see that in context because I would certainly never refer to President Zelensky as a dictator. I don't know what kind of context that could be in because it's a flat out lie. Senator Thune was asked if he agrees with Trump that Zelensky is a dictator, and he simply said the president speaks for himself. These people they can't really come out and combat him or debunk him because that will cause conflict and they don't want conflict. So that is the approach. Anyways, there is a whole lot going on. Join the conversation though. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.